This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
Well, I'm sure by now you guys have heard there's another R. Kelly docu-series that's in the works, another follow-up for Lifetime. They're going to do a new 4-hour documentary called Surviving R. Kelly, The Aftermath, and there'll be some new interviews with the survivors, psychologists, and experts on the case, and they'll be dissecting everything that's been going on since Surviving R. Kelly has first aired. Now, in addition to that, they're doing Surviving Jeffrey Epstein. They're doing a docuseries on that, and it's going to actually look into how Jeffrey Epstein, who's a billionaire financier, used his money and connections to shield predatory behavior with girls. So, you know, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested July 6th. He's been charged with sex trafficking and conspiracy to traffic minors for sex. They said he had as many as 40 girls under 18 that he brought to his mansions for the purposes of sex.
I can see why they do a follow-up to Surviving R. Kelly. I mean, the first one did great, and it clearly served a bigger purpose because R. Kelly is in jail now, so there's a lot more to talk about. So, hey, man, get the ratings, get the revenue, get the ad revenue. Why not?
All right, now, in addition to that, R. Kelly's crisis manager has now stepped down. Daryl Johnson, we told you about that yesterday. He was on CBS, and he said this with Gayle King.
If the evidence stick, Mr. Kelly would spend the rest of his life in the penitentiary.
You have a 20-something-year-old daughter. Would you allow her to be alone with
Absolutely not.
With R. Kelly?
I wouldn't leave my daughter with anybody that's accused of pedophilia.
That doesn't seem like a contradiction to you. You're
Absolutely.
sitting here defending R. Kelly, but at the same time saying you wouldn't leave your own daughter with him.
I wouldn't leave my daughter with anyone that's accused of being a pedophile.
I wouldn't hire him. Like, there's no way I would hire. He works for me, and then he kind of issues on me. Like, no.
Well, Daryl Johnson says he didn't get fired because people thought he got fired. He's saying he stepped down.
I decided at this particular time it was best to step away. You know, one of my family members is on their deathbed right now, and I'm going to go and tend to that.
I mean, there's no loyalty when you're paying somebody to do a service. It's not like he's really R. Kelly's friend or anything like that.
Yeah, but if I'm paying you to represent me and they ask you a question about me and you just stab me?
Hey, my check cleared. Okay, we know what the crisis is. I never said you was innocent. I just said I'm going to help you as much as I can.
Daryl Johnson is now backtracking on his comments and saying that's not what he meant and it was taken out of context.
Yeah.
It wasn't live. I have nothing against Gayle, CBS, nothing at all. I just think that when you do a tape interview, it can be chopped up. And my words, I pull back. If I had to do it again, I would 1,000% leave my daughter, which this is not what this is about, with Mr. Kelly, if I had to leave. The first time he was acquitted. Second time in 2008, he was acquitted. I don't want to get too much in the case with that, but I can tell you point blank, Mr. Kelly has declared his innocence again, and I believe at the end of the day, he will be acquitted again.
He's a liar.
You don't care about your daughter if you believe it was R. Kelly.
That means he's owed a few more payments, and he hasn't gotten his money yet, and they told him they're not going to pay his ass if he doesn't go out there and clean that up, all right?
The man said no. They'd be like, no, let me rephrase that. I would definitely leave my daughter with
How you took that out of
Kelly.
context? I mean, come on.
They edited me.
Why can't people just admit they're doing stuff for a check?
All right, now
why?
let's talk about the stadium goods and Sotheby's. They did a whole auction, and they auctioned off a pair of Nikes for $437,000.
Which ones were those? It had to be the Eminem ones?
No, it was the 1972 Moon shoe.
Really?
It's the only unworn pair in existence, is what they're saying.
So they wore that on the moon?
So it's called the Moon shoe, and it's
That's what Neil Armstrong wore?
No, it's called the Moon shoe.
They wore boots.
Yes, so it has the first with
Gore-Tex.
the waffle sole, and they said that they thought these shoes would sell for somewhere between $110,000 and $160,000, but it ended up going for almost $500,000.
So Stadium Goods did that?
Yeah, it was an auction that they did.
Now, what is the context behind those shoes now?
Now, Shuzium is the person who bought it. He said, I'm incredibly proud to have sold the most expensive pair of sneakers. Oh, he sold them. The most expensive pair of sneakers of all time. Thank you for connecting the dots between the Moon and Stadium Goods and Sotheby's. Thank you, Ben Meyer, for all of your help while I was in New York dropping off the shoes. It was a dream to set up the display case. And, yeah, those are the Moon shoes.
Shout out to Stadium Goods. Shout out to Miss Info, boy. They caked up on that one, boy. Woo, that was a nice
But
one.
why them shoes something, though? Like, why are they worth that much?
I have no idea.
I'm saying.
They were. I don't know. I really don't know.
I didn't know anything about it. I never even heard of them before.
Me neither.
So they weren't worn on the moon is what y'all telling me.
No,
I just call them Moon shoe.
Well,
they can't have if they're the only unworn pair in existence.
Well, maybe he wore it up there, but when he was on the moon,
They
he
look
had to wear
dirty
it.
as hell.
If
So
they're unworn, how could they have been worn on the moon?
they
You're
look
right.
dirty. They look worn as hell. They look tore up. They look dirty. They look dingy.
They ain't got a Jordan logo on it, so I don't really know about it.
Oh,
but
my God.